now, from the outside at least, you are living the dream because you are location independent.
Yeah.
And you are doing exactly what you want, and still you're making bank.
Yeah.
So, for example, for the people that might listen to us, for example, my mom and his mom, those are the people who listen to us.
My mom wouldn't understand. But your mom understand English?
No, but she watches me, okay? Because she loves me.
She loves her baby.
And they were like, fuck. And that's the thing, is all these collection of excuses that prevent you from...
Is that what the name of this podcast should be?
Yes.
A collection of excuses.
Collection of excuses that prevent you from doing what you want. And I think I already talked about this as well, but it's always like this. You heard it thousands of times. I heard it thousands of times. Renars doesn't have friends, so probably didn't hear it.
I never heard it before, no.
Like, everyone is like, oh, you're so lucky you're in Bali. It's not about being lucky. It's about making choices.
Yeah.
So, what would you suggest? How can people become like you, which means they are location independent, and you actually, you're a writer, right?
Yeah. I write at my site, abrotherabroad.com. Am I allowed to say that? You
Yeah, of course you are.
Absolutely.
Yes, do it again and slowly.
abrotherabroad.com. It's all travel, fitness, adventure-related stuff.
Yeah, you also have your Instagram handle. What is your Instagram handle?
The same.
a.brother.abroad. Look for the black guy surfing. Like 10 of us.
Actually, when you first told me that you made money through a blog,
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised because in my mind, which was completely wrong, this was like a solution maybe for the 2000, not the 2020. I thought that now you had to be a YouTuber, you had to be a podcaster, but apparently not.
No, I mean, it depends on, I guess, what you want to do, how you want to make money. So when it comes to blogging, everybody says, I think like the best time to be a blogger or start blogging was like 2012 or 2016. And the next best time is now.
Okay.
Everybody thinks of a blog as the way it started. It's just a journal that somebody's like vomiting their thoughts on and their emotions and stuff that's pretty much useless to everybody. That's what it was back in like 2000, 2002, right? But these days, everybody lives online. Even when we're in the real world, we live online. How much time do you spend on social media? How much time do you spend reading posts, whether they're blog posts or anything else? Most of your purchases, especially in the US, happen online. So the things that we had that were in the real world before are now online. This includes the magazines that we used to read while we were taking a shit. Those are just big blogs now. The stores we used to shop at are digital stores online, which are websites with a blog attached. So a blog works the same way. It's essentially digital real estate you can use for any way that you
Digital
like it.
real estate.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like it.
snazzy.
Yeah. So like your favorite magazine,
Nasty.
your favorite magazine, paper magazine, it was probably financed by ads.
Yeah.
They wrote an article and they would get an ad and the ad would pay for a portion. That's exactly what my site does. So there's no difference between that and like Outside Magazine or GQ. In addition to that, there's this thing called affiliate marketing, which sounds spammy and scammy as hell. Don't buy any courses on it on YouTube because they're all bullshit. Anything that I recommend on my site that I've tested myself, like the bag I've got outside, like the shoes I have on, if people click on a link on my site and it takes them to the site, I get a commission on that. It's like the most honest form of marketing that you can have if you're not.
So, for example, when I go, I recently did Google research about books, for example.
Yes.
And they were like the top 10 book about this area. Those link are affiliate marketing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. The same way when you used to go to a bookstore and say, hey, what book should I get? You're essentially saying, hey, Google, what book should I get?
Yeah.
And they say, oh, our sales rep at this blog
Yeah.
will help you find the book you want. And that person recommends it. That person is a sales rep. It kind of muddies the relationship that you have with a blog. Like, should I trust them? Is this done out of self-interest? But yeah, so it can be as honest or dishonest as you want it to be. But for me, it's an honest way to make a living doing what I like to do. Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. I mean, digitalized, it's just like so much faster, and you can get so much more information, so many more books. And it's like if you compare, especially if someone is from a small country or like small town, whatever, this is the big store, all I got. Online, you get there, you get access to everything and the best, whatever is in the world.
Yeah.
And that's fucking amazing.
So why not represent yourself and your passions, whether they're gymnastics, how to be a stuntman, comedy, by starting a site in which you're the sales rep and you're the coach and you're the consultant and you're all of that stuff in this one digital shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And how did you started it? Like what happened?
I started, when I first started traveling, I started a blog for it to be like what everybody thinks of, just like regurgitation of my thoughts, just vomiting my thoughts.
Was it more for just for yourself, or
Yeah.
you actually were thinking that could
It was,
eventually become something you want other people to see?
So I have this idea. It's called the Adventure 8. It's like 8 activities, 8 adventures that I plan all my travels around: surfing, motorbiking, skydiving, free diving. And I couldn't find enough stuff, enough stories to read about this stuff that were like short, easy to digest. So every single time I went on an adventure, I would write a story about it. Like I motorbiked the Ho Chi Minh Trail, wrote an article series about that. I hiked to Everest Base Camp, but I got kind of bored, so I decided to do it like twice as fast as you should, which is like kind of dangerous. So I wrote a story about that. I started by writing things that I knew I wanted to read when I was back in the real world, or I could read, and they gave me motivation. When I got back to the real world, and I was almost going back into the corporate system, then I found out about like programmatic ads and affiliate marketing. So I just layered that on top. So at the base of it, it wasn't meant to make money. It was a way for me to express my passion, but I got lucky and found a way to layer a monetization scheme on top of that.
Which is what you want.
Yeah,
You want to start with this just purely passion. Then
Yeah.
if you can add it, that's great.
Ikigai.
Did you ever thought about doing like a video version of it, an audio version, or would it always been writing?
Yeah, I thought about doing a video version. The problem is video takes so much time
Yeah.
for me because it's not like I'm not used to doing the
Also,
editing.
look at him.
I can't.
Can he
no,
be
come
trusted?
on.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm kind of
Stri-
sketchy.
if I
wouldn't
read,
trust me.
if I read and then I read at the bottom by Carlos Greider, I'm like, oh, this dude is cool. But if I look at him, I'm like,
Yeah, for video, that's totally different things. Like you need to understand how to. I mean, even now, even though they said, like, yeah, it's quite easy to do that. Even the basics to edit, it takes time. All of that takes time.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people can't write the way you can.
no, but that's the thing. Like the thing that you told me about your blog and what you do, it's not just as simple as writing. Like a lot of research also goes behind it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I've been working on. I did the statistics post I was telling you. I wanted to find out what jobs digital nomads did that were actually surviving.
If you want to tell that to our listeners about that statistic post, what you told to Chris, so
Yeah,
listeners know.
he's doing it.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, so I was everybody like I get emails about stuff all the time through my site, and the biggest question people have is how can I pay to travel like you do. And the first thing I say is don't be a fucking blogger because it's not going to work out for 99% of people, but there are a bunch of other ways. So I polled, I think it got like...
That's smart. So he's got no competition.
Exactly.
You got to keep that shit thin.
Military right there.
I don't want to work very hard. Yeah, if you don't have an enemy, you don't have anybody to fight. So yeah, I polled like hundreds of nomads. I don't know how many, but there were 4,000 responses and filtered through that that way I could figure out exactly what jobs people do that are surviving on the road, and then on top of that, a bunch of other information.
So basically, because he explains like shit,
Yeah.
he made this very awesome research about digital nomads. And during this research, actually some very interesting findings came out. So for example, one of the things I was most shocked about your research is the average age of the digital nomad is actually much higher than I thought it was.
Yeah.
What is it?
Average age is 40
Right.
for digital nomads.
Middle crisis.
Not exactly. It's
Middle life crisis.
Middle age crisis. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
middle-
just said middle crisis.
middle crisis, the middle of the table crisis. Yeah. The differentiating thing, the question I had, the way I could filter out the useful information from not, was I wanted digital nomads that were actually supporting their lifestyle with what they were doing.
Right.
You get a lot of people in their 20s that are like, late 20s that are like, oh, I'm a digital nomad. It's like, what do you... Yeah, exactly. So the question...
No, he didn't understand. He looks confused because here in Bali, there's a lot of 20-year-olds that say, "Oh, I'm a digital nomad,"
Yeah.
but then they actually live with mama's money and
Yeah,
daddy's money,
yeah.
and they make no
What is-
money
yeah.
whatsoever.
What is,
Yeah.
Do you have a definition for digital nomad for those who don't know?
Jiu-jitsu.
I'm drinking pure vodka right here.
What? You're gonna, here, pour this in there. Water it down with some water. Definition of digital nomad for me is anyone who makes money online and uses that location freedom, that time freedom that they have to travel.
A friend of mine used to call them digital colonizer.
Oh shit.
Digital colonizers?
Colonizer, no colon.
Colonizers.
Colon.
But it is quite a crazy concept. Like, we wanted to get out of those caves long time ago, and and have our houses and have our comfort. Now it's like, looks like people just travel around and sit in a cave with their laptop and just like, this is fantastic.
Well, it's because they're trying to build their hustle to get it. So this is actually another finding from the study. The people that you usually see sitting in co-working spaces, the young ones, late 20s, like exactly what you think, where you're like, those people are failing. Some of them aren't. Actuality, like you said, 40 is the average age. 40% of digital nomads that are actually making money are in their 30s, and they're in their late 30s. I noticed with people that were on the road, it was like 20s, late 20s spike, and then it went down through the 30s and came back up in the late 30s, and then it flattens off. So it's almost like people come out, they test it, they can't stay for longer than a year, they go home, and they remember what it was like. They've gotten settled in their career, they've saved some money, they come up with a better scheme, and then they come back out and do the digital nomad thing and just stay forever.
Right, and also that at age after 20, afterwards, they like, oh, I have to do something serious with my life. It's like, oh, I need to have settled down and have some family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Test it out.
I did that.
Oh yes.
But you're here now, so it was like, whoop.
Yes, you did. That is amazing, man. That is really cool.
So what other interesting discoveries you made through this research? For example, the oldest digital nomad was
72.
72.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I chatted virtually with that guy. So he's from the U.S. His wife was from, I think, Belarus or something. She was
Well, of course she was.
Yeah, of course she was. She had a heart condition, which was going to cost too much to treat in the States. So they went to Belarus, and she got to treat it there. And he retired, but he was just bored. So he created his digital hustle. But then he realized he wanted to travel. Like, if they only have a certain amount of time left, like these were his words, if they only have like X number of years left, he doesn't want to spend it just sitting in Belarus, and he doesn't want to be away from his love. So when I talked to him, they were traveling in the Balkans.
That's fantastic.
72-year-old digital nomad doing